Hey, y'all, it's your favorite speaker, Ashley Marie, and I am here with...
Your mom's favorite electrician.
Okay, that's right.
Ward, you feel me? I'll let you boy.
Okay. And just to set the tone of everything, this episode, we're just going to be talking about growth, healing, trauma, while just keeping it real and relatable. And I just would like to thank you for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
Bringing your nice energy and creating the laughter in the room.
Yes.
That's lighting everything up, okay?
Is that how you clock it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right there.
Do it like this.
Clock that.
A little shoulder in it too.
Ooh.
Yeah, okay.
So they don't know.
I give you some
that.
lessons. Okay. So I wanted to, I first wanted to say, like, I appreciate you being open about all the things that you've gone through that led you to this point. But I do want to make a disclaimer because I know that opening up old wounds and maybe like going too deep into them is not always safe if it's not like with a professional. So I'm not going to be over here trying to dig and pry the deepest things out of you, but just focusing on, because it's very interesting to me how much you've gone through and then you show up and you're still you. I see.
Oh, for sure.
You still a ball of brightness.
Right.
But you don't look like what you've been through, but it's been some shit.
I like that.
And I commend you for that. And
praise God.
Yes, amen
Thank
to
you
that.
so much. I do appreciate you having me too, because there are a lot of stories that don't get a chance to get out there. And I think you had said something like, man, more men need to hear this. And
absolutely.
And of course it's starting to like more people are starting to talk about mental health, and it's becoming like almost a trend.
Yeah.
But
more normalized. It's more normalized.
Yeah. So it's like people are speaking on it. But yeah, just having that opening to be able to share what I've been through and just some of my perceptions on trauma and things like that.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So, and that's real. I really do feel that men just don't, like, you guys just haven't had a space to be able to talk about, or even let alone forget just talking about just being vulnerable, period, about anything. And when you see men like you and, you know, the other people you've talked to do that, I find that to be hella dope. And once other men see men like you and others doing that, it's giving them the courage to do it. And that's really healing our community, period. Because I feel like a lot of toxicity in relationships come from unhealed people in general, right? But it's more so we see that men, just because it's something that's frowned upon, you guys are not given that opportunity, and it shows up in other ways.
And something to really put out there too is a lot of women have not had a safe space to even be vulnerable. And people wonder why women are so masculine now and why they are in a position where they operate the way they do, because a lot of men don't do the work, so they don't know how to allow women to do the work. And I'm speaking for myself too, you know, but as I've been beginning to grow in who I am and knowing who I am, you start being able to see it on others, male or female, kids too. Right. It's like, wow, like you're uncomfortable talking about things that you've been through, and you don't even realize that you've been
affecting you
through
too.
These things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that it's affecting you. And I think that's what, you're right. It's with both. It's like, I don't know about you, but I feel like I could tell now that I've started my own healing journey and started going to therapy and reading those books or having those conversations or watching those videos. And now I'm starting to see people who I can tell how far along they are in their healing, or if they've never had any at all.
Right.
Yeah. So do you feel like
I definitely feel like that is a thing. And it's almost like a spirit that somebody wears. You can see it in their mannerisms, the way energy. The way they look. And I can literally almost like sense like a fake smile or something. And so I don't have no problem like asking people like, you know, how's your day going? Not trying to pinpoint like, oh, there's something wrong with you.
And then they start dumping
because what's so crazy is like people don't do not understand the story of Nicole and things like that she was going through before she passed. And like one of the things that I had to do was I had to look at her like nothing was wrong.
What do you mean by that?
Like while she was on drugs, or, you know, at one point you wouldn't know if she was on something, or the drugs just kind of did what they did.
I remember.
You know what I mean? And so she would just be on one or whatever. But when she got to that falling off space, it was like I never spoke to her like something was wrong. I would ask her questions like, you know, do you
checking in with
do
her
you
and stuff?
like hearing the voices that are like in your head? Like, do you? And this is the crazy part, is like we all have voices in our head, right? And it's just when it gets unhealthy, it's how do you dialogue with those voices and what actions come out of speaking to those voices or hearing those voices.
It was like kind of different because we have that inner voice that's like our consciousness, and then there, for people struggling with either addiction or mental health issues, it's a completely separate voice that it's not them, from my understanding, because I haven't dealt with that. And I was going to end, shout out and rest in peace to Nicole. That one hurt. I love her so much.
If you knew her, you knew her.
If you knew her, you loved her.
Right.
Period. Like, she was like the big sister that I never had. And I literally have so many fond memories that I just, you know this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, man, I'm honored to be able to have been a part of her life and have her as somebody who was like a big sister that I never had. Right. So, I definitely was going to ask you about that too. Like, how are you dealing with that to this day right now?
Yeah. Every day is a day. And I think like it just comes out of nowhere. I ask people all the time, like, how do you deal with this? And you really honestly don't, there's no real way to understand the way someone handles death and loss because you're not in their head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
so that's why they say like grief is different.
Yeah. And it's like, and I said that no one has a degree in grief, right?
Yeah, that was
right.
That was deep.
No one really like understands it, and no one prepares you for it. Kariga had called me and he was asking me about, like, like, how are you dealing with it? Like, it's okay. And he was just making me feel like, it doesn't matter like how you're feeling. You know what I mean? Just go through it. It's going to, it's a journey.
Yeah.
Death is a teacher and it is a journey. It really
I
exposes
literally,
you.
I haven't dealt with much, thank the Lord, before this, but from the beginning of the year till now, it's been like more than average. It was my great uncle who I was really close to. And then it was my dog, which that's also weird because it's like, I think what hurt the most because we had him since he was a baby and it was like a child. And also my daughter, that was her outlet for her mental health.
Right.
Was her connection with him since he was this little and couldn't even open his eyes. So to see her hurting and screaming and, we're in the parking lot because they told us we're going to have to put him down. He was going paralyzed, all of that. And it's even like I started to invalidate my own feelings about that because it's an animal. But even though I don't believe that, I'm like, I might look stupid grieving over an animal because grief is supposed to be for humans. But I think it's that inner, like you said, we have voices and sometimes it's the inner critic. And that critic was really coming down on me, but that was making it hard for me to be able to actually process that, hey, my feelings are valid and I'm going to grieve how I'm going to grieve. And it doesn't matter what anybody else says and to accept that. And so what happened with my grandma, when she just went to the hospital, that's what made it like, I was scared, very scared. And it was like that close before my uncle said he had woke up out of nowhere. And he was like, that was God. He said, I don't take any credit for saving her. That was God. God woke me up, went in there, and she was linked over and she was having a stroke. A stroke. And I don't even know what that's like or the signs were because she went to the hospital before. So the first thing in my mind is, and this is the grandma that raised me when we were growing up.
Right.
First thing in my mind is like, I didn't want to think that, but like, it's, you're scared of it. So I'm saying all that to say that like with Nicole and with you processing it, and knowing how close y'all were, for sure. I don't even know how that could be something that you are even handling and still being able to put a smile on your face and have good energy and still walk around as the man that you are. Like, kudos, for real.
And it's identifying the things that you're facing and battling, because even like what you just said is like you were looking at yourself as a critic. And I looked that definition up the other day and I kind of forgot it, but it's but it was just negative. It's like a negative outlook of someone, right? And when you think about that, how damaging and paralyzing it is to look at yourself in a negative way. You know what I mean? When you're battling something that's so weighty, you know, and things that you've never experienced before. And so I think
like you got to give yourself a little bit of grace when you're going through things. And when you have that inner critic, it's hard to do that.
Right. Because all you're doing is like, man, what? Like a lot of me was like, man, what if I was there? What if I was able to help her? You know what I mean?
So you were like, I've heard of that too, because I had a little bit of that with
like survivor's guilt.
Is that, and is there another word for it? I know what you're saying.
Remorse or something.
Yeah, I know what you're saying though. It's like you start to blame yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like what you could have done better and what you should have done and all of that. And that's not, that's a real mental battle.
And so there's condemnation and then there's conviction. So condemnation.
Please explain.
Right. From a spiritual standpoint, like condemnation comes from the devil. And that's like guilt and shame and pain and negativity and the way that you view something. But conviction is something that God gives you and he helps you look at you're still looking at the same sin or the same thoughts, but God gives you a way out, and it's more about reflection and accountability within yourself, or, you know, taking it from a positive standpoint. And I think sometimes when people pass, we're getting so down on ourselves. Like one of the biggest things that I've grown from, but it started off as condemnation in my mind, but it became a conviction of, you know, you got to treat people, you have to treat people from a healthy standpoint all the way up until their end. So before Nicole passed, it was like more about worrying, concern, different things like that, right? But I was like, man, I wasn't really just being her brother.
What do you mean by that?
Like I wasn't just loving on her and being present with her.
Because you were so worried
about her being, you know, this and that. And even up until the day that she passed, I called for a wellness check. And I went to the Kevin Hart comedy show that night. The police came for a wellness check. They didn't take her because they said, you know, we can't just take her without. But she broke some stuff, left, and she had passed away at around the time I was like probably leaving the Kevin Hart comedy show.
I think it was like last year.
Yeah, it was no, it was 2022. But it was it was the same day though. Pretty much the same night. That I went, she passed away, and I woke up the next morning with a bunch of phone calls but I thought about it and I was like, well, I called the wellness check because the only time she would get back good is when she would go to jail. And she was like out of control. It was like she didn't want help. So that's the only time she would get help. And sometimes we think we know what's best for people, and you find yourself in a position where you're trying to play God.
Ooh.
So
that is a word. If you didn't just speak to me so much, I literally had that same conversation with self. And I start to like realize when you love somebody and you, like you said, you feel like you know what's best. And it might even be like, it might even be something that makes sense and that would help. But once you start trying to force something and move pieces that are not for you to move, it's for God to move. That's when you get, and I always look at it like how much resistance do I get back when doing this?
Right.
If there's a lot of resistance, that's probably not something I should be doing. When it's coming with ease, and not like just like, oh, it's a little obstacle, it's hard, but like if I'm trying to do something and change somebody else, I had to start realizing like I have a fixer issue. I'm always trying to help people. I'm always trying to, what do you call it? Save people.
Yes.
And I'm actually in my trauma class, kind of diverting a little bit, but still there.
Ahead.
I was in my trauma class last week, and they had said, damn, I just lost it. Because I was thinking about like a whole bunch of different things. Because I got excited because I was thinking about, oh no, we were talking about that. And then that's when I came to the realization that it was from a deeper issue when growing up. I was in situations where I talked about on the last podcast that I grew up in experiencing domestic violence, and most of the time they were with women that I ended up growing a bond to, and I could never save them. I could never do anything. I would always be there trying to comfort or do something or make them laugh or whatever. Right. But I realized I started getting older, and then I started getting in relationships where I'm trying to fix people, or I'm attracting more damaged people because I'm always trying to fix. And then you end up having this resentment because if it's not working or if they're not taking heed to it, then you start to get mad. And then it's like you find yourself in this cycle. You're always trying to fix something when the whole time you're really just being a person to others and giving to others what you really should be giving to yourself. Like, only person I could save is myself.
Right.
And from my own traumas. But it's like when you're trying to, like you said, when you think you know what's best, you're playing God sometimes, and you kind of got to have that balance of like, is this really me for me or not?
And that's good because like as we're on our journey and we're learning and we're trying to gather these thoughts of self-discovery and all these different things, how many times do we sit there and think like, oh, I've arrived. Oh, I'm doing. I get it. You know, like you're the one that needs some help. You know, like whether
I have the answers to this.
Yeah, whether it's
I've been through this.
my baby mom or someone I'm talking to or my partners and I had to tell myself like the way this person gets free and moves on might not be the way this person gets free and moves on. Just because when I was in this situation, it worked for me.
It worked for me, yeah.
Doesn't mean that that's going to work for them.
And it's like sometimes if they're not asking us, we're just, like I remember when Lauren London said it, I think she said something about, we don't own anybody. We're just here experiencing them. Mm-hmm. And it's like when you sit back and you just appreciate whatever experience instead of trying to fix it, unless they're coming to you and they're asking you for help.
Right.
Then that's when you see more ease because you're not getting that resistance from things. But I guess it's different because when it's your sister or any other family member, but especially his sister, when you guys were close, it's like, I think that just would come natural. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like a natural thing. Do you feel that you do that with, or that you did do it? I don't know if you still do it or not, with everyone around you, or like, is it just in that situation?
I think what I've come to know is we're all trauma bonding in some form or fashion. And if it's not from a healthy standpoint, we are all coming together and we are exchanging traumas with our projections and the things that we've been through. And I was thinking about this because I was like, well, Dr. Bryant was talking about it. I don't know if you know who she is, but she's super dope. Phenomenal Black woman. She be on Instagram.
Shout out to Dr. Bryant.
Right. So she was talking about how when people grow apart, a lot of the times people just act like, oh no, we grew apart. Like I don't like them no more. I don't. But realistically, you outgrew them because you guys are not trauma bonding no more. So so if I'm healing, right? People call it growing. Oh, I'm growing and I've elevated to, well, you may be elevating, to a different social status or a different financial status, but with that, you're probably growing internally too. Mm-hmm. So now you're looking at the person you're around and you're like, that just doesn't fit me no more. You know what I mean? Or that doesn't work for me no more. So when people are healing and they're growing and they're trying, like you're trying to battle demons and this person's over here sitting in demons. You know what I mean? Whether it's I got friends that I still kick it with.
Yeah.
Might have a drink with, might find myself smoking with.
I was going to ask you about that too, but so that's another question. But what you just said, I want to kind of friendly challenge that.
Yeah.
Because I want to know, like,
oh, for sure.
if we're all trauma bonding, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is it when, let's say, two people are experiencing one another, friends or whoever, right? Mm-hmm. What if they're both healing and it's not a trauma bond? Then how?
Right. No, right. I'm saying that like not literally.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
I see your face.
I was like, hold on. But I mean, I'm open-minded because I'm like, okay, maybe it's a perspective that I'll actually.
Right. No. When you have two healed people, which is not normal.
No, it's not. It's not normal. It's not common. Because like we talked about, the average person is not going to therapy.
The average person knows nothing about themselves.
They don't. Not at all. They don't even know what. Because I made some content like this on TikTok, and I was saying like how people are always talking about heal your trauma, this and that. But how are you going to heal? How are you going to do that if you don't even know where to start? When the average person comes from a family where they're not even talking about their issues within the family dynamic. So that's just a very basic level. So yeah, you're totally right. The average person doesn't even know who they are, doesn't know what makes them who they are. And I think that's when, because I'm saying this because there's people that I've actually outgrown, still love to this day.
Right.
Won't name drop, but you know if you know. No, I'm playing. Kidding. I kid. That I felt like I outgrew. Not that like, oh, I'm better, I'm healing or this. It was like once I started to grow, I started to notice some shit. And it's like, I think maybe at a point we were trauma bonding because like when I was in high school and I was that little hyphy one who was always getting down and fighting and yeah, we was doing the ratchet things. And some people, as we probably both know, still stay stuck in that kind of like a little arrested development. Yep. And then I start to grow and I see like, like you're entertaining things that we don't click on anymore, or the type of person that you're being does not resonate with my values anymore, or things like that. But I wanted to know if you, like, coming from like you told me about when you were selling drugs and stuff like that, which I didn't know that. Oh my gosh!
Right? Oh my.
So when, let's say, like the crowds that you're around or the environments and things like that, how has it been for you being, especially a man, which we talk about is not common, who is on a very unique healing journey? How do you keep connections with people who are not?
I think honestly, if I'm being honest, a lot of times I still fall into wherever these people are. If I'm being honest, like that's what I was saying. Like sometimes I may even in my heart be like, you know what? I don't want to go out tonight. Right?
I don't want to do that.
I don't. But my trauma man is like, go outside, go get seen, put a nice outfit on, get some compliments.
I mean, you do be putting that shit on. No?
Well, but you know what I mean?
I ain't seeing you,
Nah, but you see what I'm saying? No, like, but like go and get your ego pump. That's what it is. It's an ego pump. And go around what go back to your familiar place. But when I'm in my right mind and I'm cognizant of what I'm doing, I basically let people know, well, everyone's going to know who I am and what I'm about because that's what I do. People still, so some of my partners might hit me when they're going through stuff because they know I'm going to give them some good
sound mind.
Yeah. I know when they're going through something because they're going to call me about it, whether it's a relationship or, whatever the case.
Life's
exactly. So my whole life, I should have been getting paid.
I feel the same way. I do the same. Like literally, there was a person I was friends with. I couldn't know for real. Pay up,
right?
Okay, sock it to a pocket.
Something. Appreciation.
So like,
GoFundMe?
A Dutch bro, maybe?
Right.
Get a coffee?
Right.
Okay.
Something, please.
Yeah, so I felt like that. I was like, man, I'm over here. I'll let people trauma dump on me, which is cool. But like, I made videos about this too. Like, don't call me with a problem. You got about 3-4 times before we start talking solutions in this bitch.
Right.
I'm not about
to just keep doing it.
Yeah, like, and when I do give that advice, but you keep making the same decisions, and I'm always the one that you call for that. And on top of that, if I can't call you or you don't pour into me any type of way, I had to really start seeing who was like that and who wasn't, because I've always been the one to be a giver and talking and all of that, which is cool because I love doing it. Clearly, I love talking.
No, for sure.
But and I also love helping people, but it's like there has to be a balance, you know? So yeah, I should have got paid too. I think I'm owed some compensation.
It's one of those things like when you're having a conversation and I'm beginning to open up stuff to my friends that I do kick it with, that be on whatever they own. And I tell them, I'm like, man, you know, it's acknowledgement, then there's awareness, then there's understanding, and then you go look for deliverance. Like you actually want it out of your life.
Yeah.
And a lot of my traumas right now, I'm at understanding and I'm not jumping that broom to deliverance. You know what I mean? I've acknowledged it. I'm tired of people telling me like, well, at least you're aware. Well, at least you're aware.
And that's just the start.
Right. But it's like,
thank you. But
being aware is like, so one, people don't even want to acknowledgement and accountability. People don't even want to do that. Yeah. They don't even want to acknowledge that.
Because a lot of people
problem.
are always, it's what keeps people stuck from even being aware or having acknowledgement of stuff is because they still in a victim mind. Right. Like you might have been, I made a video about this, but I didn't really post it. But I was really feeling it that day. I'm like, man, people who are always complaining or you're being a victim of your circumstances, it keeps you stuck there because you don't see how much power you actually have in changing or healing or any of that, because you want to stay stuck in that place. And I mean, I don't fault anybody for that because it's all that, you know, one's understanding. But it's like at some point, like, so it is a good thing that you have the awareness, but that's a part of your journey. You know what I mean? Like, but you're just there.
But it's like being the okay father and people being like, you're the best father. You know, you're such a good father. And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I'm a good father. I feel like I'm a great father, but I have so much. I'm not comparing myself to the deadbeat. I'm comparing myself to the man that has funds and accounts and has their kids already set, and you know things.
But you know what that sounds like
that we getting into.
It sounds like you're being hard on yourself. Like
facts. Yeah, but give
yourself a little grace. Like if you're progressing, then like
yes. But what I'm saying is because I said I'm a great dad. Right. Yeah. I'm acknowledging that.
There we go.
But I'm saying that I know that there's so much more room for growth.
Okay.
And so that is how I think people hit a ceiling and they don't,
or like complacency.
Yeah. Because you're not around other phenomenal dads. You're not around, you know, business owners that are making different choices. You're not around the sober minded person. You're not. And so you're around the people you know,
right,
and the people we know.
So we comparing it to that.
It's normally like
shit, I might be top notch. Right, comparing it to y'all, but
that's what I'm saying. Like when I come around, yeah, you should be more like Nick, and no, you should not. No,
you don't know my battles.
Right, do not.
Don't just thank you.
Right,
but don't put that heavy on me.
So I'm saying once you're accountable and you acknowledge it, and now you're more aware. Like you're aware when you're in the trauma, when you have a trigger,
or just when you're doing the work in general.
Well, like say like beforehand, you know, somebody says something about you being a father, and you just lose it because you it's a trigger. You know, whether it stemmed from you not having a dad or you not being a dad. Yeah. Like you aren't being a dad. So it really bothers you. Boom. You're not even, you get mad every time because you're not really understanding it. What happens when you start being aware of it and you're like, wow, I'm like, actually, why am I getting mad
Yeah, when you start
Every
figuring out those
time.
whys.
Yeah, you start asking yourself questions. Then
Yeah.
you come to understanding and you're like, oh, I'm actually getting mad because I'm not, I know I could be better. And I know my dad didn't give me no tools to know how to do it. Now it's like, what do I need to do to deliver myself from it?
That's a great, like
You know
a
what I
great
mean?
process. And that is actually what that's the whole point of what I'm seeing, the trauma class I'm in is more like an intensive one, right? And I'm starting to notice like, okay, the purpose of this is to see those triggers, figure out where they come from. And it's like a whole science that they have to break it down. And I love this for you, especially like, I just want to put it out there for men. It's like men like you are making it better for other men because people can see it happening and like, okay, you're actually doing the work. And okay, this is, strong men do this. This isn't a weak thing, looking at my emotions.
Right.
But how do I put it? Where do you get like your information, or like, are you in therapy? Do you just do your own?
I need to be. Hey, it's so funny. I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, I be talking all this stuff and knowing damn well I need to be in therapy because I have my days where I'm like, yeah. It's
just like blah.
Yeah. Okay. I see where I'm at today. Like, I don't want to go to work. I'm a businessman. I'm not answering phone calls. Yeah. And this is the type of stuff that people don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur, as like whatever. And why did your business fail? Well, it more than likely wasn't the business.
Right.
It was you.
It was the person they needed to become.
You, bruh. Like, there's so many things I'm trying to unlearn as a hustler and trying to unlearn as like what I don't deserve or what I can't have and all these different things.
Unlearning to learn.
And it stems from the people that would point at me and be like, you're not going to be shit. You're never going to be anybody, right? And you're in these spaces with people that have already made it. And those are the people that are treacherous and they're mean and they're, whatever. Yeah. But like, they make you feel like you're nothing. And that feeling is deposited in your brain. And until you get out of it, you can't really get to nowhere.
And that's why I know like you were joking but serious, but I advocate so much for every and anybody. Like, my daughter is in therapy. And it's like, she's only 16 years old, but I know that like, had I gotten therapy, I didn't have to learn all the lessons in the hard way that I did, being in the scripts.
Right.
So, but it's because I think it's a lot of work. We're also not trained professionals. Once I start working with trained professionals, I'm like, oh shit, this is like, okay. Y'all know what y'all talking about.
Right.
So I do think that's like a really good thing because like you seem very informed, you seem very open-minded and willing to learn. And when doing that, like, I mean, it sounds like you are. And
see, and this, and you want to know it's so funny, right? Right. And it's so funny because outside looking in, it's like, man, he seems like, and that's the thing. The people that seem the most like that are normally the ones going through the most.
Yeah.
You know,
that's why they be like, check on your strong friends.
Yeah, because it's a real thing. You know what I mean? It really be happening. And something I put your perception in life will have you dodging raindrops when it was intended for you to dance in the storm. You know what I mean? And so we are like, we basically complicate everything. Like following God it's simple, but it's not easy. He makes it very simple. We just don't want to do what he's telling us to do.
Yeah.
So we're over here trying to dodge the raindrops that are inevitably going to hit us. And put
everything in our own hands.
Yeah.
And like, even when we were talking about earlier, like fixing other people, I think that's kind of equivalent to just trying to do everything yourself and not establishing a relationship with God to help you. I literally just started my journey. Like, I've always known God. I've always trusted in God. I always be like, it's one God. I'm not really churchy or religious type. I do want to start going to church, but I want to be very I'm very cautious because I don't want to get caught up in the religion aspect and all these norms. I just, I want to just build and strengthen my relationship with God. But even the little bit that I've been doing, like getting in the Bible and reading, like I've never read it. I read parts of it and stuff like that with my grandma and little tidbits, and I know certain prayers, but that's the one thing that I feel like is making my healing even better right now is establishing my relationship with God. And I think it's dope because I used to think like you just got to change and you can't be you no more. Like you got to just become this perfect individual and just talk like this and walk like this. But it's like, nah, for real, come as you are.
Yeah. And it will teach you that you have to die daily. And that's why it's very difficult, because when you die to self, there's a grieving process.
When you say die, you mean like the ego?
Like, yeah, everything that is of you. And not giving it to God. So when you deny yourself, you actually gain yourself.
Mm-hmm. I spoke about that before too.
And there's a parable in the Bible that talks about the harvest, and it produces wheats and tares, and tares are like weeds. Mm-hmm. And the wheat produces good fruit, and the tares produces no fruit. When the wheat and the tares grow, they look very, very similar. And you don't know what you're getting until it produces. Mm. And a lot of times in life, I feel like we don't know what our decisions are actually producing. Right. So like when we make the bad decision in the moment, we know, oh, that was a bad decision. Dang.
But how that's going to affect us is something we don't look deeply into.
But then 5 to 10 years later, you're still losing from that decision that you made because you didn't heal it, or you didn't address it.
Or what it can keep happening.
You and it keeps bearing, it keeps bearing. And so I think a lot of the times we don't even know like what we're looking at in the decision. We don't know if it's a wheat or tear because it looks the same. You know what I mean? But if we start actually doing the work like you're saying, and going to God and, sending up prayers and having our relationship with him, I believe we will have a more better decision process in what we do in life.
Yeah, that's where I think I'm starting to get there to have that connection. Yeah, I was it's so amazing that you said that about you have to die every day, because first I was like, maybe that might be something in the Bible I just don't know yet. Yeah. But when you said the grief, I've actually spoke on that before too. I believe that, or I just got to the realization of like, nobody talks about enough the grieving that you have when you are losing the old version of yourself, because it's still a loss.
Right.
So, and I never knew that either until that idea was brought to me. And I was like, wow, it feels so like, I don't know, it hurts just like grief. Maybe not the same as like a human dying or something, but the grief is still there. And it's the version of you that you connected with, that you learned to be to survive your situations, has to die. And it's not easy. And that's one of the biggest things that like woke me up about like, oh wow, this is really the transforming like factor. Like once I get to that point where the grief is setting in, it's like, the change has happened. That version of you is either dead or dying, and then not actually connecting with others the way that you used to. That's something that I feel like I felt grief about before too, because I no longer, like, we don't click anymore, but I love that relationship, my family, my friends, like this.
Right.
But it's like that relationship also, a form of it or a part of it died, or sometimes all of it died. And yeah, when you said that, I'm like, yeah, that shit ain't easy.
No, and you have to die daily, because that person never leaves. So those traumas that happened to you, whether it was vicariously, things that you weren't even a part of that are just in your DNA, or if you've been raped or something that was out of your, it's forced trauma or whatever, you can't just get rid of that.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't just say, hey, trauma, go away. You know what I mean?
Trauma, out of here.
Right.
I'd be a perfect person if I could.
Everybody would. But it's one of those things where you are aware of it and you do. So like when something happens and you are triggered, it's like, I'm going to choose to be the man that died today, not the man that's still sitting in that place of hindrance and that place of misunderstanding. And, I talk to people all the time and then I'm like, they'll say something to me and I'll be like, well, I didn't just say that. Who told you that? People, there's voices in their head
like
really telling them like, oh, he trying to get at you or he talking mess about you.
It could also,
you know what I mean?
And that can also manifest through other people's, through their trauma and how they process things. So
that's
even if it's, it's how they're processing it, whether it's like another voice or whether it's just like their actual internal voice. But a lot of, it came from a book, one of the first books that I read and I love, The 4 Agreements. And one of them is don't take anything personal. Right. And, it's basically what it is. Like everybody is just projecting what's going on with them internally.
Right.
And
exactly.
You don't know what that is. So don't be surprised if it comes out and it's like, well, why you come? But you battling with something else. So it's not about me. It's not about what I did. I used to take a lot of things personal until I started realizing like everybody fucked up.
Right. Let's just say it like that.
Like, I mean, basically like.
And people be like, how do you have so much empathy or how do people get compassion? And it's like, well,
how do you not?
You have to have that perception. You have to look at someone like you said, and instead of being like, oh, you talking shit about me or whatever the case about, and you get into your triggered, man.
Right.
Oh, don't be talking shit about my mom. You don't know our relationship when really you talk shit about your mom all the time. You know what I mean? Now all of a sudden someone else talks shit and you. And
it's like only I could do it.
Right.
But I can talk shit.
But then you look and you be like, you know what? I don't know this because they didn't tell me, but maybe they have issues with their mom.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're triggered by my relationship with my mom.
Yeah.
Because they don't have one.
Yeah. Ooh. That's something that I get. I do sometimes. I don't want to say like with everybody, but I've been in situations where, especially around holidays, I get a little jealous. I don't necessarily get mad at people, but because like, I'm gonna just be real with myself. I'll just be like envious, like, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Just go be with your parents. I can't do that. But it's not about them. It's about me. It's about what I'm going through. And I think everything that we're talking about is just overall our mindset. Cause I think that's why everything is about mindset to me, because that was the first thing that had to change. You remember when I was younger.
Yeah.
Like people always be like, oh, you have grown so much. And I'd be like, damn, was I that bad?
Right.
I think I was.
Could have been.
Yeah.
Could have been.
Could have been. Yeah. So, but it took me like changing my perspective on life and being open to changing the way I look at things. And that's basically everything that you just said too. It's like when you're changing your mindset, when you're changing the way that you look at things, then you can start to grow and you can start to see things more clear or in ways that are better for you or more, just, open your perspectives. That was the biggest thing. I always just looked at things like I was a victim. Even though, cause like you're in these situations and you could have went through something where you are, or you were a victim, and it might not be your fault, but it's like, once you start to get older, since we can't use that as an excuse, since it's not our fault, it's still our responsibility, or it's still our responsibility to heal that or fix that. That's the unfortunate part. Like we might not have caused it, but we have to heal it.
And there's certain things that is inescapable, just like you're talking about holidays. And I was texting you and you sent me a video, and you're like, this is for all the people, blah blah blah, and I got a special love for the people that lost people, and you know what I mean.
You know what?
And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, that's dope. First and foremost, because you took your time out to even send a video, and secondly, for the people that really don't have nobody, and I'm trying to I'm sitting there, and I'm trying to help people to understand I'm like, until you don't have no family and it's holidays,
Mm-hmm.
and Thanksgiving was the last holiday I seen my sister. So you got that, and then you got family that I don't have because it's just me and my mom. My brother's in Portland, and I don't know neither sides of my family, because my dad wasn't around, and then my mom detached from our family because she said she was hurt by her family and she didn't want us to be hurt.
Trauma, yeah.
Whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
We was playing this game, Unpack That, and she went into this whole thing, and it was mind-boggling. And it
was like an eye-opener for you. Was it the first time that you learned that?
Because she hides so much. And that's one of my triggers. People that are too private. Like, I can't trust you. And I'm like, why are you so private? Mm-hmm. Why are you, my mom didn't tell me nothing growing up. And her and Nicole had this elite, female bond or whatever. So she would know stuff I wouldn't know. And just there's so many rabbit holes of trauma. But around the holidays, I'm like, it's different even if you have family and you just don't mess with your family.
Yeah.
You still have the family. You could go to the barbecue. You could go get the food and do, even if it's nasty or whatever the case. There's a lot of reasons why people don't go.
Even if Uncle can't barbecue real well, he always burning the ribs.
His arm shakes.
Yeah, and it be a little dry. But at least you can go get some dry ass ribs.
Right. Everybody got the weird family members, right?
Yeah.
So I'm so used to going in to people's families and then trying to find my love
space,
within it, you know what I mean? And that feeling of because I was married twice, so I got close to all their families, and then when I left, it was it didn't feel the same.
Oh,
you know?
Do you still have them to go to those? You still have kids?
I got kids, but it's too weird.
Oh yeah,
for me.
Yeah,
and then some of them get mad because you divorced, or everybody has their own ideologies of how everything went down.
I was thinking about this too. Have you ever thought to do, because I did this for my daughter, the ancestry thing?
I did think about it.
I think it would be tight. I actually had a lot of family members that I actually met and had messages with. And one we ended up finding out that she was my uncle's daughter because she was adopted. And it was it's really beautiful how it can bring people together. And it was surprising to see how people were open to having those conversations and knowing you as a family member and things like that. Right. And that was her case. She was like, yeah, she has her adopted parents, but she's like, I want to at least know my family. I want to at least, meet somebody. And you'd be surprised how many people actually are open to it. But I didn't even know that was an option. I signed up for it because I was curious of what nationality.
Right.
And what type of black.
Right.
It's basically all that. I'm nigga. It's Nigerian. It's all nigga. Straight nigga. Yeah. But I little Mali, a little Welsh. Woo. What else was it? It was some shit, but it's 2%, 6% here and there, and then 36% Nigerian. I said, okay, that's why I'm about my money. I get it. Right. And I did it for my daughter because she wanted to know what type of white she was, because she's biracial. She was always curious or whatever. So I think that would be.
Oh yeah, I already know I got hella stuff.
Yeah.
Because I only know of Hawaiian, Portuguese, Black and French. I might have some Irish. I'll be having some little red hairs and stuff like that.
That holiday to celebrate.
Yeah. Irish, yeah.
And so I wanted to know, do you think that Nicole, a lot of that her getting on drugs and stuff like that. I mean, probably obviously, yes, is what I would think. It was from a lot of unhealed things or like not knowing how to find it. And because I have family members that are on drugs too. And I started to learn to have compassion for them.
Right.
Because I'm like, I see how damaged you are. Like you can, it's like you can see different layers of people when they get on drugs, especially when they're your family. And you can see like, okay, I can see how you didn't know how to deal with this happened. And then you went down this rabbit hole and then you ended up on drugs, because I feel a lot of people who are addicted to things, they didn't just wake up and say, oh, I want to go be addicted to something.
No.
It's like they didn't know how to deal with what was going on emotionally.
Yeah, no one's addicted to drugs. They're addicted to escapes, and they're addicted to numbing themselves from the pain. No one wants to do meth. No one wants to do crack. It's like you end up doing it because you have no other outlet, or you try something because you're around it.
Some bad
because you're around it vicariously. You're around it, and those people are already gone within their trauma, and they bring you in. And like Nicole, she would pop pills and stuff like that, and she always smoked weed, and I don't really know what trauma she had prior to that.
Did you guys ever like have those type of conversations?
Not really, honestly, because
when
I really look at it, like, we grew up good. Like everything that we got, we deposited into ourselves. I went and sold crack on my own. I had to go sell crack. I was like, I had a job. Yeah, I had a job. Why are you going to do that? But it was like, oh, I want to get some money. And someone told me, hey, you could sell crack. You know what I mean? Like, it is.
Hey, I have this one odd job.
Right. When someone starts scamming, it's like, hey, I got this play.
Yeah.
I got this skit. I got this whoop-dee. I got this.
Did you go to jail?
Yeah. I went to jail,
Yeah, see, I did some scamming before, and then it got to a point.
I never went to jail for scamming.
Well, no, I never went to jail. I never scammed people I knew. It was just like, like I don't steal from people.
Know profiles.
I steal from companies and stuff like that.
Right.
But it was like, it was only for a little bit when I was in Atlanta, when I was like early 20s, and then I got to a point where I was like, you know what, I probably shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
And then I see people like, because I was in there for a DUI one time. I was in county, and I was in the holding tank or whatever, and all these girls was talking about how they was in there for sliders and this and that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, first of all, why would you buy a hotel with that? That's fucking stupid. But anyways, I'm like, it's just not worth it. Like what they're facing is not worth it. But it's like not having that guidance, not having the structure, not having someone to guide me in a certain direction and say, hey, this is how you're supposed to do it.
Right.
I was just doing whatever I wanted to do, whatever came about, and being in the streets and all of that. And I was really lost. So when you talk about like knowing who you are, I never really thought about it until you started saying it. Yeah. I don't think I ever knew who I was until I started to heal, because I was just gone with the wind.
Yeah. You can't really figure it out until you, like you said, you start dialing back and being like, oh yeah, like sex for me is an escape. It's always been an escape. You feel me? And see, like, yeah, you make the face, but that's a
Wait, sorry. I just didn't see that one coming. Right. I didn't know that could be an escape for somebody.
It's an escape.
So what, like you mean like addiction?
I wouldn't call, well, actually, I mean, if it's hard to say certain things like that, because then it makes it seem like, oh, you have like a real problem and you're out here just whatever. Once upon a time, yeah, I was a demon. You know what I mean? From 18 to 24, I was on whatever. But as of now, you know what I mean? I'm not out here doing X, Y, and Z, but it's a simple fact of like, that is a release that I'll go and get if I'm feeling overwhelmed. But it is so innate and natural that I'm not aware of it. I was in Bible study, and because I'm just so real, like that's the thing about me.
And that's the best thing. You being real with yourself.
Like, this is the conversations I have by myself, so I'm just having them now. This is what I do all the time. So I was in Bible study, and we was just talking about things that are holding us back, and I was just, it's very small. It's only like 4 or 5 of us that go. It's small, and I raised my hand and I was like, I fornicate all the time. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, so, I need prayer or what have you. You know what I mean? And does that mean that I stopped fornicating? No.
You're just aware of it. Yeah.
I'm still spiritually, I'm like, it doesn't mean nothing to me if I'm being honest.
Yeah. And I like that when you say being honest. Yeah. That's kind of like, that's the same thing to me as when we were talking about like the awareness and
how do you get over that if you don't agree with it?
You gotta be real.
You know what I mean? Like,
you gotta be real with yourself. Yeah. And that's a lot of what I see from people that I grew up around. It's like they're not real with themselves.
Right.
And I know I was thinking about someone that I was having a conversation with, and I'm like, I don't think this therapy is gonna work for her because she's in therapy, but she fucking lies to herself all the time.
See?
And it's like, I know you're lying to yourself.
Pathological.
Yes. Like strong. So if you go into therapy, you talking to somebody and you lying.
Right.
Because you ain't even being real with yourself. And I feel that those are like the most trustworthy people are ones who are real with themselves. Because what they got to lie to you about if they don't care. Right. And that's like my philosophy too. It's always been like, why am I going to lie? Because who's going to check me? Who's going to whoop me? As a big grown adult, why do you have to lie to yourself or anybody else? And that hinders you from having any type of growth, because when you have a problem, but you cannot look at the problem and say, hey, this is a problem. It takes being honest to do that. And that's one of the things I think is like the biggest hindrance for people is the inability to just first be honest to even start to get better. But then that's why they're complaining about the world around them.
Right. And I think you can only be honest if you know it's an actual issue, though. So, or like, that's why I said, if you don't think having sex is a problem, then why would you ever bring it to yourself unless you really are like, oh, okay, yeah, like if I'm in need of something, I'm going to go do that. Like you have to actually digest it and be like, you know what? You might not be addicted or have like a crazy problem, but it is something that distracts you. You know what I mean? Women distract me. And being somebody who is, quote unquote, well-rounded with their emotions. And if someone finds me attractive or whatever that case is, it's like you're getting I tell men all the time, if you don't get a lot of attention, I don't want to hear about problems with women.
Yeah,
because you're not getting that wave, and I'm not just saying I'm getting a crazy wave, but you know what I mean? I'm just saying like, if you're not being pursued,
then you can't understand that problem. You can't understand where I'm coming from because you don't have that problem.
That's it. If someone lives with somebody who has alcohol in their house all the time, it's going to be more difficult to not drink if you have a problem.
Right.
Rather than living with somebody who doesn't have any alcohol. Like, that's why
not having that exposure to it is going to make it a lot easier for you not to fall victim to it.
I don't keep alcohol in my house, but when I go out, I drink, and I call it social drinking.
Do you feel bad for that?
No, I feel bad for me waking up in my car the next morning if I got too drunk and my neighbor's knocking on my window because I kind of blocked her parking space because I didn't actively pull up. You know what I mean? Stuff like that, neighbor, where I'm like, and I'm waking up like, bruh, you're 37.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, that alcohol, it don't hit the same. It take let me tell you.
It got that juju
the
in
check
there.
Engine light will come on when that alcohol get to hitting after 30. It ain't the same. You need all type of hydration, a salad, ibuprofen, 24 hours, a nap.
So I asked somebody once, and I was like, "Do you drink?" Because you're always like, "Oh, I was drunk. Oh, I was drunk." Do you drink to make poor decisions? Is that the reason why you drink? So that you can go make a decision and then be
do they blame it on?
Yeah, okay. Like, oh, I was drunk. Oh, I didn't even know, girl.
Yeah,
Oh, I don't even like him. And
that's not an excuse.
And to be like, bro, I would have never, like,
No, you did, because all alcohol does is bring
on.
out who you already are,
Right.
and it just gives you that liquid courage to be that even more. And then I've
Right.
learned about the whole frontal lobe thing, and that's the part that's like the reasoning. And the more you drink that, the more of this gets shut off.
Yeah,
and then you make you make the decisions you would have wanted to make anyways, just a little bit more impulsive.
Or I agree. Or it's like you make the decisions without processing the consequences, or or processing, like, because you could definitely sleep with somebody that you wouldn't want to sleep with, you know what I mean, or you could put yourself in a position where you were even around someone that you wouldn't normally be around. You know what I mean?
No, I was in a situation like that with, well, not the sleeping with somebody part, but the
me either, honestly. I haven't done that, but
and I think at our age, we probably shouldn't. Like, I think if somebody says that, then it's like, okay, you got to check self for real, because there's
something wrong with you.
You shouldn't be doing that because you get drunk at this age. Now, blacking out in the car, I understand.
Well, I wasn't blacked out. No, I just went to sleep.
Oh, you went to sleep. Okay,
yeah. I'm tired.
But I was in that situation, and I was in I don't know if you ever felt like this, where you wake up and it's like, damn, I had a feeling not to entertain XYZ over here. And something happened that made me be like, because it was like an altercation. It took me back to an old version of myself, and it was like I was fighting. And I was with my cousin, and she even told me, she was just like really surprised at how I handled myself, that I didn't just pop off. And she was like, bro, I seen you like battling yourself. And I said, oh, wow, it was obvious, because my spirit knew that I was supposed to be in these type of environments. So now I'm in the middle of this, not knowing on whether I'm going to go back to the old version of me, or whether I'm going to be the person I know I am today. And the fact that I even got put in that situation, we was out, we was drinking, we was turned up, and I don't blame it on the drinking. I just look at it like, okay, if I'm going to have drinks, I need to be in a specific environment. And I was like, this is the reason why I don't do this. I don't go to clubs. I don't be with certain turn-ups and all of that. Like, I stopped doing that. That was my first time. Well, actually, no, we weren't even in a club. Were we? I don't remember. No, bowling. We went because we were supposed to go to the club, but I didn't go with them. I met up after, and then we went to the bowling alley. But neither here nor there. It was just like, when you get into that space and you put yourself in that environment, you have to then be ready for the consequences. And you can't just blame it on like, oh, I was drinking, or, oh, I made this bad decision. Like, no, you put yourself in that situation. You made a decision before you even got to drinking in that environment, and you knew what was likely to come with it.
Right.
So here you have it. And now you're back at square one.
And the thing is the environments you're in, the devil will create an environment that looks enticing, and it actually fits the environment. I was hearing a sermon, and he was like, the devil was a snake in the garden, right? That's not abnormal, that a snake would be in the garden, the jungle, whatever. You know what I mean? He was like, it wasn't like he had a giraffe cub, you know what I mean? And he was like, like a giraffe. Yeah, like something that was like, oh, whoa, like,
why are you in the garden?
Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's like
the snake's more likely to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we'll know we're the giraffe in the elephant in the room. There you go. Yeah. That's better.
Yeah, there we go.
That's like a good.
I was definitely.
Yeah.
I was the elephant in the room for sure.
And you weren't meant to be there.
I wasn't. You're right.
You feel me? And like, we'll know, oh, I'm an elephant today, and there's a bunch of snakes in here. And instead of leaving, we just be big as hell, and they're just big ass elephant just
it's like, I'm just going, I'm fitting in.
Squeezing, and you squeezing through, and boom, here we gonna go to the next part. How they say, how you're trying to shrink yourself to fit in the room.
Yes.
Right? That just came to mind. And it's like, how many times?
That is so applicable, though.
Yeah. How many times are you shrinking your big ass? You know what I mean? To fit.
Like, you're an elephant. You're not supposed to be over here.
You can't even wiggle through and do what they doing.
Exactly.
But you're going to try to hit the spider in the club as an elephant. It just doesn't work. You know what I mean? You remember Spider?
Analogies by Nick.
Right. You remember the Spider, though? The Spider, the dance. The Spider. I'm like, I'm thinking of
I know you are. I'm thinking of a black spider.
Double entendre.
Yes.
See, they don't be catching it, y'all. Y'all just, if someone caught it, it's going to be good for you. You know what I mean? But everybody didn't catch it.
Yeah, no, that's a throwback. The spider shit.
I was in this little, it was like a bunch of artists, and it was like a Friendsgiving, right? Mm-hmm. Shout out to M. And we was, and it was a bunch of artists out there letting their songs play. So that was what the Friendsgiving was.
Oh, okay.
It was
That's what's up.
It's hella tight, right?
That's support, too,
and one of the dudes started hitting the spider. Oh. And I was like, see, there you go, showing your
It's
age.
time for you to go home. This nigga he done had some nigga nog and a little bit too much of it.
He was raw,
it's too. It's time to go.
He was raw, too.
If I start hitting the spider, take me home.
Right.
Take me home. Immediately. Get me out of here.
Something wrong. See that? I would have slipped or something.
I am tired. I'm lit. I'm all of the above. My knees already hurt. I can't. No.
Right, and you won't know until the next day.
Yeah, when the check engine light comes on.
Yeah.
I said your body will send you notifications.
Right.
You'll get a bing.
I just ran 6 miles to run to feed the hungry, and halfway through, my knees, it went back. Because when I first started running, it would do that. And I was running for a cool amount of time, and then I stopped and tried to get back. But yeah, like the outside of my knees.
Yeah.
Bruh, was
That's
aching.
what happens. It's like there's certain things that change when you get over 30.
Yep.
And not just the mind, the body.
Right.
And I think, and that's tight. Like when you told me you was in the gym, I was like,
right.
I feel attacked because I have not been in a minute. But that is such, like, going to the gym is so therapeutic, or hikes or walking. Like, I found therapy just in that.
Right.
Just in getting out. And I mean, scientifically proven, like, you go get fresh air, it does something with your brain or whatever. But doing those type of things is like what actually helps. And that's another reason why I stopped doing a whole bunch of like clubbing and stuff, because I'm just like, this is not doing anything for me.
Right.
And my back hurts after.
Right.
And I'm in these heels.
And even though I said that to you earlier, like, even though we know something is bad for us, we still do it. We still end up making those decisions, even in the midst of knowing that we shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And that lets you know, and I've been saying this that's how you know the trigger and the trauma is stronger. It's a stronger gravitational pull than what your heart wants.
Yeah. And it can also, I think the good in that is it's a nice gauge of how much you've grown and where you're really at with your healing. Because like you said, when you're that elephant, and sometimes the elephant doesn't know they're the elephant because they're not that far along. But like, I got woke up even more to like, I am the elephant. I cannot shrink myself. The healing and the growth has been so much to where even if I wanted to, things don't fit for me anymore, or things don't fit into my world anymore. And I just have to accept that, because like, did I want to be out and have those connections and have fun like we used to when I was younger? Of course I did. Right. But it ended up turning very bad. And I was like, okay, I got to grieve this. I have to grieve this version of me and this environment. And that's just where I'm at right now. I'm just at grieving, letting things go, and letting God lead me. And that's where I should be.
And being content with allowing people to be in the space that they want to be in. Just like you were saying earlier, like trying to overly help somebody, or trying to get someone to see that this would work better for you. Yeah. And I'm still trying to get out of that. Yeah, same. And it's normally with people that I'm close to. Right. People you're around all the time. Like your kids or, and it's like, well, everybody learns different. Everybody's journey is different. Right. And we can't change that. Yeah. And I know I'm more aware of it now, but trying to like see somebody else's potential and pour into them so much, and try and get them to see like, this is who you really are. This is who you're supposed to be. Come on, just go do this so you could be the best version of yourself. But who am I to say that?
who am I to say?
You're not
Even if I
God.
see there's potential, who am I to say that's what they're supposed to be? But that same thing, that same energy, what I'm starting to do, and this is a part of it, having this, having these type of dialogues and having podcasts like we've had today, is to actually pour into myself. And this is in a way to where I can still pour into other people. People can pour into me, it could be even exchange, because even the conversation that we've had, I believe, we both learned things and got different perspectives and all of that. That's more in a healthy way. So where I'm at right now with my mindset is pouring into self, loving self. And that's how I can show up and be the best version of myself for other people. And it's starting with me. So I want to ask you, as we're closing out, two things. One, what do you feel like is your mindset right now where you're at when it comes down to like your growth or just the space you're at in the person that you are becoming? What are the top things that are?
I would say the biggest thing I'm learning is every day could be a turning point. Every day could be a pivot in a positive and a negative. Like literally every decision that we make stems from things that we've digested, we absorbed, we learned. People don't commit suicide out of nowhere.
Right.
When they do, in that moment, it was out of nowhere. But these were things that were curating for so long. And they're stirring up for so long. And I've thought about, I've had the thought of not kill. I generally don't feel like I could kill myself, but I've had the thoughts of me and my partner was talking about this, and we were like, yeah, definitely had thoughts of like, who would be at my funeral? Would anybody really care if I was gone? And how many people did I touch? You know what I mean? What would they say about me at my funeral?
But it wasn't the actual action of like, I want to take myself out.
Yeah, but just the thought of not being here is negative. And that thought is what the devil hears. See, the devil doesn't know our heart and doesn't, but when you speak it out loud, the devil can take what you say and twink it to where you can do harm to yourself or make you feel like your day is that hard today.
Yeah, put your mind in that space if you allow.
Right. So I always say, I always tell people I'm a slippery slope. You know what I mean? Like, if you get on board with me, you know what I mean, and you get to know who I am, it's gonna be quick. You're gonna get engulfed in who I am really fast because I'm just gonna shower you with who I am.
I'm just gonna tell you.
Yeah, this is what
I'm not about to play no games. You're about to know.
Oh, you feel me? And it's like that slippery slope though opens up different portals for different people. And so when you're around different people, they can be a slippery slope. And out of nowhere, you could be on drugs. Out of nowhere, you could be drinking more. And the devil works subtly. So it's not always like a big boom effect. It's
over time.
A little bit. And before you know it, I talk about being beyond the buoys, right? And you're swimming and all of a sudden you look back and you're like, oh, I'm hella far away from the shore.
And that's exactly how it happens. It's just little by little.
And then what happens? The current takes you and you're out of there. You feel me? You went too far. You and now God, you can't get back to where
preaching to me.
Right.
Real. Somebody tell you my business.
Right. I know. You read my mail.
Yeah.
Well, God, that's how God works.
Yeah.
He'll use other people to and we either take it in or we don't.
Yeah, I love that. Yes, definitely. You must have been reading my mail.
You
must have been doing something, spying on me or something.
Possibly.
And then the last question: what would you say to that young man who might have seen the same type of things, or had the same type of experiences as you, or just even if they haven't? Where would you suggest that they start their healing journey from a man's perspective, since it's kind of different for men, a little bit more challenging? What would be the first place to start that healing?
I think it would be embracing who you are right now. Like actually getting an understanding, taking a personal inventory of like, I am this person. I like these things. I don't like these things. I've been through this. I got this many kids. I got whatever it is that you're going through, even if you're not a dad right now, if you're not, and once you identify who you are, the good, the bad, all the things that you've been through, your triggers, your traumas, and like literally just digest who you are right now, then you can begin to dig up some of those things and start really transforming what it is you want to do and how you want to move forward. And in that, God will show you the way in the transformations, you know what I mean? Like all the stuff will come out as you're delving in and figuring out who you are. Because you won't know until you just start doing it. You know what I mean?
And definitely keeping God first and keeping that relationship. It's a
That
good
part.
start. That's a good start to me, because I think a lot of us, that's like peanut butter and jelly. Healing and relationship with God just goes together, and sometimes that helps us.
And there's no time frame. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just like, when my sister passed and, I started writing the book, Testimonies of Our Traps.
Yep, and I was going to ask you to plug that in.
Right, so I'm like, let me just, you know what I mean? So Testimonies of Our Traps was a book that I started because I wanted to understand how I felt about my sister and where our relationship was before she passed, while, after she passed. And it turned into this book that I was like, man, I really want to possibly help others get freed.
Who's like gone through the same
Yeah,
things.
or just trauma as a whole. And in the midst of me writing it, I started reading the book, The Untethered Soul, and it talks about all the voices and the thoughts that we don't bring into our forefront. So that's most of the reason why no one knows themselves.
Check that book out.
Yeah, it's like you're not putting the voices and the thoughts in front of you. You're not observing them. They just stay in your head, and they stay in there.
You're not like actually analyzing the thoughts. You're just letting them
they're
run
just
free.
in there.
Yeah, instead of controlling them. And
they come out when they want to come, and they tell you what to do, and they control you. And so a lot of times you see people all the time, it's like, oh, they were on drugs. Yeah, they was on drugs, but they probably really don't know why they did what they did. They don't know.
Right.
Literally.
They just fell into it.
And it's like the drugs just helped. The alcohol just helped.
It's a temporary escape. And it's like once you come back from whatever high that is, the problem's still there. And most of the time it's going to be worse. So yeah, I agree. They're not going to know. So knowing oneself is.
Nobody wants to run nobody over while they're intoxicated.
Right.
Nobody wants to kill somebody like unknowingly. You know what I mean? And I've been in situations where, I have too, where I'm like, I'm waking up in my car.